The next 4-inch wave is based on the second Sonic movie, and I will be out looking this weekend, seeing if Target will let me buy them. I was successful. It's morphin' time! Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to another Sonic the Hedgehog review. Today is all about the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie toys, because I found everything Target had. So, luckily, at one of the Targets I went to, I had a very, very helpful employee who was able to look up stuff, and we sort of tracked them down, because they had gotten the stuff in, but they weren't out on shelf yet, because they didn't have a spot for them, so they were sitting in the back. But we got pretty much everything. The only thing from the toy line we don't have is the tornado plane of Tails and Sonic, that whole thing, because that's exclusive to Walmart, and I have no idea when Walmart was putting stuff up. We knew that Target's street date was February 27th, so that's why I went out for that. But I'll try to get the Tails plane at some point, but I'm kind of bummed out it's an exclusive to Walmart. Now, that being said, I did get a lot of other things, so we're going to go through this. I figure, you know, we'll start small and work our way up and take a look at all that the toy line has to offer, because Jakks totally didn't get to do much for the first movie due to the whole redesign situation, so they got in on the second movie, and I'm very, very excited. So, let's begin. So as you can imagine, this is the largest amount of new Sonic stuff I've ever had at one time, and I thought instead of spreading this out over multiple videos, let's just do it in one and put chapter timers. So there will be chapter markers in the description if you want to jump to a specific segment, because we are covering the 2.5-inch figures, the plushes, the 4-inch figures, and the remote-controlled Sonic. So if you want to skip over any of that, I understand. There is chapter times in the description, as well as on the little timeline bar below. But yeah, we're looking at all this. There's 4-inch Sonic up there. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with something simple, and that would be the 9-inch plushes. So Sonic's gotten plushes before, and I hardly ever find them in stores, but they are video game-based plushes. But I decided to pick up the movie ones because, well, I found them. So here we have Sonic. Now Sonic here, looking cool, looking fly. The tags are pretty much just the movie Sonic render we're sort of used to from the first movie. But, you know, I think it's slightly updated for the second movie. But it does say on the back Sonic, so they are specific. But you can see he's got his shoes. He's got good fabric detail. I've never reviewed a plush before, outside of, like, Toy Story. So I don't know what else to say. But, I mean, he looks good. He looks like Sonic. I mean, you look at, you know, there's the render, and there's him. I mean, it's Sonic. Next up, we got Tails. What I find funny about Tails is this is the movie Tails, right? But it looks so much like video game Tails. But then again, movie Tails looks so much like video game Tails. That's also a factor. Point is, they look nice. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but he's got his tails back here. I like this. Some other Tails plushes will have them separate and they flop everywhere. These are connected, so that's nice. None of these can really sit, per se, because the legs are kind of stiff. So if you try to sit them down, they're going to do that, and they don't, you know, stand because they're plushes. And then last up we got Knuckles, who is awesome, and he doesn't chuckle unlike Sonic. So you got just, you know, there's Knuckles. I mean, what more can you ask for? He's got the claws on his fists, looking cool. He looks slightly pissed off, like you know what he looks like? He looks like Kermit when Kermit's frustrated from the Muppets. But yeah, and then, you know, there's his shoes, looking cool, and his tail. So, I mean, like, they are movie branded, and they definitely are, you know, slightly tweaked from the movie designs. I think they're a little, you know, like, longer limbed than the video game designs, but they're cute. They're fun. I like having all three of them here. They look nice together. And now we go into the premium plush segment, because this is a Target exclusive premium Sonic plush. So he's actually, so if you compare him to, by the way, I forgot to mention, these guys are $10. At least at Target, they're $10, $9.99 US. But if you look at the Sonic here, this one's kind of, you know, more basic. This one's got, like, you know, extra fur detail level, which I actually thought was pretty cool. And he goes for $19.99. So he's wired in, like, he's not coming out of the box unless you clip him out. But there he is. Here's his box. 13-inch plush, super soft fabric material. It doesn't say it's a Target exclusive, but from what I understand, it is exclusive to Target in the US. From everything I read online, So it also, look at this, it's cute and cuddly. Cute and cuddly. How much more of a deal can you get there? Anyways, I'm going to cut him out of the package and we'll take a look at him. So he sits a little better than the others because he's got more like body weight. But yeah, so here's Sonic. Look at him. He is super fuzzy and soft. Like you can see how soft he is. He's got plastic eyes, which is pretty cool. They're a little slightly lopsided, but it's neat. I don't mind. The gloves here also pretty nice. What's interesting is on the smaller one, they sewed in like finger lines where here they're just rounded off. And then down to his legs, like his shoes are a lot more detailed. So it's like they look like the shoes he has more in the movie. But again, interestingly, there's not an extra piece of fabric here where there is here. But overall, I mean, I like him. I think he's definitely a step above the others. The plush soft feeling is definitely a bonus. But yeah, so if you're looking for a Sonic plush, this one's a little nicer in terms of materials, but the other ones are a little smaller and it might be more collectible because they'll fit with other characters. But I like this guy. I like him a lot. He's soft. Like he's just very like you can feel the softness. You can also feel the fibers doing off his head. Anyways, we're gonna move on to hard plastics now, which is stuff I'm more familiar with. All right, let's go into familiar territory with the 2.5 movie figure collection, also exclusive to Target. What's interesting is that this is exclusive to Target, and then Walmart gets the biplane with a 2.5-inch Sonic and Tails in it. So as far as I know, and Jakks hasn't said any different, we are not getting single-packed 2.5-inch figures. So that's interesting. But anyways, this is a $19.99 retail price, and yeah, I mean, it's basically your main characters in the movie. So you got Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Dr. Eggman, and then a Buzz Bomber. All right, so here's the 2.5-inch 5-pack. Now, clearly, these are small figures. The thing that's funny is how Eggman scales to Sonic in them, because I feel like they should be like a little bit shorter. Like Eggman just feels tiny, considering the size of Sonic in the first movie. But who knows? Maybe they got bigger. But yeah, let's just start going through them. So here's Sonic. Pretty nice sculpt. Even on these smaller figures, they've done a really good job of adding that realistic fur detail that matches the movie designs. So Sonic was really great sculpt there. Kind of a weird paint app touch there. I don't know what happened there, but left and right swivel, shoulders that move out and rotate, hips that move out and rotate, and that's about it. But that's a pretty nice little Sonic figure. For scale-wise, for those wondering, I mean, these are 2.5-inch figures, so here's the video game 2.5-inch figures. They're in the same size class. So that means if you did want this Sonic running around the playsets for the video games, totally doable, which is awesome. Also, here we got Tails. So Tails looks great as well. He looks, adorable here. And yeah, again, they have really nice sculpted fur detail that gives them a different look than the video game counterparts. But here we got the head turns left and right, shoulders move out and rotate, hips move out and rotate, and the tails go on a ball joint, and they rotate all around. I typically have them like this. I say typically like I haven't just opened this like 2 minutes ago, but, he balances better with the tails kind of facing down. Here's Knuckles, looking cool, looking very stern. His head doesn't have much movement at all, but his shoulders do move, they move out. His hips do move and they move out, so pretty nice. That is, it's Knuckles. Again, nice fur detail. I'm really impressed with that, especially with how small the figures are. And then here is Robotnik, if we can focus on him. His head sculpt is interesting because it actually, it looks like Robotnik. That there's no denying that, but he's got the goggles, everything's painted, it's really cool looking. His snazzy jacket painted all over, which is really cool, actually. I'm actually kind of impressed. And look at the little tiny detail of like the gold tips on the shoes. I didn't see that coming. Now his hips, I think, are on like ball joints because they kind of move around like this, but they don't really get much movement because of the coat. But his arms get full range of movement there, which is pretty awesome. And then the little star of the set, because it's not in anything else, is a little Buzz Bomber. which looks like the Buzz Bombers from the game, except in the, you know, Robotnik style, where he's got like the egg robot thing going on. What's actually kind of surprising, first of all, he has one of those stands which you could plug an accessory from the video game figures on, like a Chaos Emerald or something. It is that same peg system. And then this guy's got, you know, these don't move, these little guns, even though this one's like slightly mismatched. But it does rotate here, which is pretty cool. And the head has some adjustment to it. So you can get a little bit of articulation. But yeah, I'm curious to see, I mean, I'm not sure the exact scaling from the films, but I'm thinking this might fit with the 4-inch figures, just because it looks a little big here. But I'm not, we'll check it out in a minute here. But overall, if you're wanting to get, you know, your main characters from the movie for 20 bucks, you can't go wrong with this. This is a really great set. So finally moving into the meat and potatoes of the line, the Sonic the Hedgehog 4-inch figures, which is definitely what I think a lot of people are looking for. And here we go. So here we have Sonic, and we do have a new packaging style. This is completely different than the normal figures, which I don't have any of those packaged at the moment here, but look. So the video game figures are in the, you know, they have the ring style. This is different. In fact, this is packaging done in the same shape of Sonic's head, because you can see the front rounded part and then the quills on the back, and then that carries back into the back card. So it looks really cool. I actually like it. I like the, you know, that same render of Sonic. That's pretty much just on everything now. It says Sonic with Snow Rider because he does have an accessory. He is articulated, which they keep slapping on there because they made bendy figures one time. And yeah, so, you know, there he is, and we'll look at him in a moment. On the back of the card, it does have a little bio for Sonic saying, Sonic is your typical lightning-fast teenage hedgehog hero, stopping crime, saving the world, and looking cool while he does it. 13 points of articulation, and then we have, you know, the rest of the wave, which we, of course, are looking at in this video. So let's get Sonic opened up and take a look. All right, so here is Sonic in his awesome 4-inch action figure glory. So looking at him and looking at the 2.5-inch figure, these look like the same sculpt. And the 4-inch one is more detailed and articulated, but they look like they sculpted the same figure and then just produced it at 2 different sizes, which is totally cool. But you can see the paint work is a little bit better on here because it's got like the swooshy thing. But anyways, looking at Sonic, just, again, really great detail work. I love the realistic fur texture because that gives him a different look than the video game look where he's all smooth and stuff. So here he is next to video game Sonic, who is having so much trouble standing these days. I might need to pick up one of those reissues just to get his knees are not working. But, you know, you can see they're about the same size. He's actually a little taller, which is kind of interesting. But there you go. So there's your quick side-by-side. But yeah, let's look at I think the articulation is what we're going to look at most here. So neck, left and right. It has a little bit of wiggle, so you might, I wouldn't push it 360, but it's definitely going to get you some range of movement. Shoulders, again, I'm trying to be careful because of stiffness due to cold in the back room that I work in, because it's essentially a freezer. But he does have elbows, and that elbow does swivel, so that is actually an upgrade. Because I think I was talking about this with Rouge the Bat. It was surprising she had elbows. I also forgot that both Eggman's and Mechasonic had elbows as well. But this is definitely an upgrade. So really nice to see that on, like, you know, a Hedgehog. And then his wrists also turn. I'm going to show it on the other arm. The wrists do turn as well, which is great. But yeah, he is, you know, he feels a little stiff jointed, which is fine because I was just talking about how other Sonic was a little loose. But you know, he still poses pretty good. So you got the hips, they rotate, and you got the knees, and they bend. I mean, that's a knee bend. It's helpful. And then the ball jointed feet like we're used to. So almost the same articulation as a normal figure, except now he's got elbows, which is awesome. He also comes with an accessory. They said this was, what was this? This had a name, and I totally forgot what it was, and I'm scrambling for packaging. It is the Snow Rider. To me, this looks like a piece of like a Robotnik ship that is now being used as a snowboard. So this is from a scene in the movie, I believe, because it's in the trailers and it's on a poster. But he can stand on it. I think, you know what? I think he can stand on it like that, and he can totally ride it. This is giving me like Sonic Adventure 2 vibes, where he's just like riding stuff down a mountain. and just several other Sonic games. If you want to get him in kind of a more natural pose, I guess we could just take the knee. Let's see. Put the hips forward and bend the knees carefully, and plug these on. Oh, I should also mention, look at the texture on the bottom of the shoes. Holy cow, that's the 2.5-inch one. Definitely doesn't have that. Like, that's where its trademark stuff is, but look at that. That's really cool. Anyways, let's get them plugged in. And heck, you can even just plug one foot on if you want, you know, kind of a widespread. But let's get both feet plugged on. So yeah, if you kind of bend his knees, it looks a little more natural than if they're not bent. Come on, plug in, plug in. And is he going to stand? He stands! All right, so it works kind of like an action stand, but yeah, look at that. You can get kind of in a more natural skiing down a mountain pose than I was expecting. So that is pretty dang cool. I like when the accessories can interact with the figures. I mean, I also do like, you know, the spike traps and stuff, but like, this is much cooler to me. All right, next up we have Tails. Now, Tails is packing with a blaster. It's interesting because usually Tails is very non-combative, but this Tails, he's ready for combat. And we'll look at that in a moment, but same basic packaging. Wish we would have gotten a render of Tails here, but that may not have been done in the time they needed to get the toys produced, so I understand. But flipping around to the back, we can see Tails here. Tails is on a mission to find Sonic, use his brains, tons of gadgets, and of course his two tails. Alright, so here's Tails, and much like the Sonic, he is the same, pretty much the same sculpt as the 2.5-inch figure. Some very slight variation, but pretty much the same sculpt, which is nice. Alright, so looking at Tails here, looks really good. I think he has a great expression to him. He's got, you know, nice, again, that fur detail is incredible. Like, there's extra sculpting detail, which is extra plastic because of all the ridges and stuff and logistics. The only thing I have with this guy is his articulation scares me. And that's just because, well, first of all, head moves. It's on a ball joint, though, so it's got a little bit side to side. It's the fact his limbs are very tiny. So the shoulders, they feel fine. Look at these tiny elbow joints, though. Yeah, that, I mean, it moves. It moves, that's for sure. Does it move in a way that makes me feel confident that it's going to hold up over time? No. They worry me. This could be nothing, or it could be everything. I don't know yet, but, you know, he doesn't have as much detail on his shoes as Sonic, but hips move. He also does have knees. Let's get the tails out of the way. He does have his knees. We'll talk about the tails in a moment. The knees bend? I don't really want to bend his knees. I'm just going to leave them like that. Is everyone cool with that? Cool. And yeah, the tails. So the tails are on a ball joint plugged in there, but it's a kind of a light ball joint, so if you move it in the wrong direction, it may just come off, which is fine because that's like a safety mechanism. So it's like, you know, instead of it breaking, it just, you know, if you push it too far, it's just going to pop out. So, you know, that's fine because I think, you know, speaking of different versions of Tails, here's Video Game Tails. I think Video Game Tails, his thing was like just shoved straight in there, and I was kind of worried that it could possibly be a problem, but there's Tails and Tails. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? That's just great. But yeah, so like his elbows and knees, they worry me a little bit. Also, his blaster, he can totally hold it. So yeah, I mean, there's your meme image of the video right there. All right, everyone screen capped it. Good. Yeah, so there is Tails. Yeah, dude's got a blaster, which is kind of wild. Maybe movie Tails is not a pacifist like Video Game Tails is. But there you go. That's Tails. So next up, we got Knuckles. Again, same packaging style as the others, which is totally cool. We got Knuckles with Snow Rider, articulated, that whole thing. Here we got Knuckles is one tough echidna with no time for small talk. He's on a mission to find the greatest power in the universe, and actions speak louder than words. All right, so here we got Knuckles. And yeah, just like with the others, I mean, this is pretty much coming down to, it's the 2.5-inch one, but bigger and twice as articulated. So yeah, I mean, he looks great though. I mean, he's very stern, very serious. The tail's a separate piece, but not articulated. Shoulders, they move. Yeah, no head movement. There's a joint there, but it doesn't do anything. Elbows, wrists pivot, hips move out, the knees bend, and the ankles rotate. This articulation works, I think, on Knuckles. I don't feel any stress on the knees and elbows. Sonic, I felt a little, and Tails, I definitely felt some. He does come with the same board piece that Sonic came with. Also, he got them traction. His boots are, wow. The detail on the bottom of the feet, not what I was expecting, and probably wouldn't have noticed if it wasn't for this thing. So it's kind of weird with him because his feet are a bit wider apart, but he's not going to be looking down the way he's going. He's just going to be going like, woo, because of the nature of his neck. So if you want to kind of do that, that's going to look a little bit better. But yeah, pretty cool. Oh, and before we forget, video game Knucks. Just so that we got, you know, Knuckles and Knuckles. Yeah! Alright, so here's Robotnik. Same deal. Packaging looks great. Really striking. On the back, Dr. Robotnik will stop at nothing to get back to Earth, activate his plan for world domination, and exact revenge on that obnoxious Hedgehog. Everyone, I'm gonna tell you this right off the bat. This is the most articulated Sonic Jakks figure ever made, and I'm so shocked. Let's just get into it. All right, so first of all, I mean, let's just do our comparison to Mini Robotnik here. I mean, look, this is just Dr. Robotnik and Mini-Me right here, right? I love it. Same sculpt, but oh boy, they're so different. So let's move this out of the way. First of all, I want to talk about the head sculpt. I think they captured Jim Carrey's Robotnik pretty good in this head sculpt. I think, you know, let's zoom in where the light is. This, honestly, it looks like him. It has the resemblance. It may not be like a perfect like photoreal thing or anything, but it has the resemblance, and I appreciate that. His head does turn, but mine's a little stuck. It just doesn't exactly want to move. But look at all the details. I mean, look at the little like gold clasps here and there. All the detail paint on the shoulders. You know, the gold around the shoes as well as on the back. Just, you know, very impressive stuff. And then I started to pose the figure and realized this guy is a little insane. So first of all, shoulders, 360. Yeah, no surprise. How about double jointed elbows? Like, I was just complimenting the fact that Sonic and Tails and Knuckles have elbows, and that was a huge improvement. Same with, like, Rouge the Bat last week when I reviewed her. He got double jointed elbows. It's funny because the default position looks like they don't articulate at all, but they actually are double jointed on both sides. I don't know who did this, but I appreciate you. All right, it gets better. So the hips can actually flex out because they cut the jacket just right. So they can flex out, but here, get this. You know, just the forward, back, left, out, right. Thigh swivels. Double jointed knees. He can kick his own butt. Do you know how many figures can't do this? And I'm not talking just Sonic figures. I'm talking like all figures. And then on top of that, he's got an ankle forward and back. So he can actually pose in almost, like, if he just had a bicep swivel, this would be, like, seriously insane. But, like, he got double jointed knees and elbows. Who did that? Because I want you to keep making figures. I'm just... wow. I mean, I talked about, I think, way back in Wave 1, how Eggman was one of the most articulated because he had elbows and knees. But, like, you know, that's just... This guy's got double elbows and knees. What the heck? Who puts double elbows and knees on a 5-inch, like, you know, $10... By the way, the 4-inch figures were like $9.99, I think. I don't know who does that, but I love it. I frickin' love it. All right, so let's talk about his accessories. First of all, he gets a little egg robot. So it's in its egg form here, and then you can open these up on the sides if you have nails. I have a little bit of a nail. But anyways, you can open this up. So this is essentially one of his egg drones. It's very similar to the ones in the first movie, I think. Speaking of that Buzz Bomber, the Buzz Bomber being a different one, you know, putting these side by side, honestly, we'll talk about the best accessory in a moment. You know what? That actually works for me. You know, I don't know if they're exact scales, but it's kind of nice we have some options there. And I do like how this one folds up into its egg form and then rolls around because it doesn't have a flat bottom. But most importantly, he's got his coffee because he likes the way they're made. And the best part too is that the hand is wide enough he can hold it. And because of the double jointed elbows, it looks like he's drinking it. Was the double jointed elbows just to facilitate the coffee cup? Because if that's the case, I appreciate that. And yeah, that's amazing. That is absolutely... Holy cow, I was not expecting movie Robotnik to be probably like top tier best Sonic figure. I mean, I think Rouge is just a little better, but that's also because I have a bias towards Rouge because she's the cool Batgirl. But like, I was not expecting this to be the most articulated Sonic figure. And then here are all the 4-inch figures together. I think Robotnik, just look at the 2.5-inch, he feels a little small compared to Sonic, but that's just because Sonic was seen so small in the first movie. It's just going to be one of those weird things because they all have to fit in the same price point. Scale is funny, but I do like these. I do like these a lot. I think these were $10, and these are general retail. So unlike the 2.5-inch figures, which is exclusive to Target, these are available everywhere. So yeah, we got one more thing to look at though. All right, so our last item of the day is the Sonic Speed RC. Okay, so looking at this thing, for the Try Me feature, you're going to want to pull this cord out because I don't know how, but the cord is here for the Try Me feature. When you pull it out, it goes into normal mode, but I don't exactly know. It just shows you ripping it out, but now I've pulled the cord from the little plastic piece. I'm going to work on this, but that's something you need to do is you got to be able to pull this part out just so that this goes into a wireless function instead of being tied for the Try Me, if that makes any sense. Okay, so it's not stated in the instructions themselves, nor on the box. The box says 8 AA not included. Well, it includes 6 AA's in Sonic himself, but you need to provide 2 AA's to the remote, and the Try Me feature only worked because of that cord connecting it. All right, so here it is all set up now that we got batteries in the ring, and I love that the controller for this is a ring. That's just really fun. So yeah, let's take a look at the Sonic part of this. So nice base. It's got wheels here and there, so you know, as it tips left and right because they put the stuff in the middle. These kind of look like propeller blades in a way. The Sonic itself, nicely detailed. It's not, you know, reusing the sculpt from the smaller figures, but he does have a turning head, so you can get him looking whichever direction you want. And then his arms are fully articulated. So he's got the shoulders, he's got the elbows, and he's even, I think, got wrist movement? No, the wrists are solid. No, wait, the wrists do move. Yeah, so he's got wrist movement. So he's got fully articulated arms. Kind of makes me almost wish that we maybe will get a collector's edition movie Sonic even, because that's kind of the same articulation style. But you can have this guy kind of surfing, doing his snowboarding thing. What's interesting too is his feet also turn, but he doesn't come off the base. So he is on there. But look at that. Pretty nifty. So turn the ring on like this, and then it'll have a red light that'll blink until it connects. Turn this on, and then the tires will blink. And then that's connected, and then apparently this is the direction it's going, so we're going to change Sonic's head. But yeah, so here it goes. Whoop. It moves insanely fast. You know, doing it here in the studio, it's not going to do great. It does rotate, as you can see. He's flying all over the place. And basically, yeah, you hold this button down. Wheels spin, you hold this. They spin in opposite directions to turn them. And then while you're holding this, if you can do this with, you know, one hand, but you hold this down, you press this button. It apparently goes, I think it goes faster and then it lights up. So there you go. But I think we need to take this thing somewhere larger than this little desk space to see how he really rules. So honestly, this was pretty fun for $40. And yeah, it's $40. That's not horrible for an RC toy nowadays. And, you know, I enjoy it. So here we go. Here's everything I reviewed today. And I hope you enjoyed this, because this was quite a bit. But honestly, first wave of Sonic movie toys, really fun stuff. So that does it for this review of Sonic the Hedgehog toys. If you enjoyed this, please check out my other videos if you haven't had a chance. Hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell to keep up with future uploads. There's more on the horizon, so you don't want to miss anything. So be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's free, it's fun, you get to keep up with future stuff. Also leave a comment down below and tell me what your favorite toy is from the Sonic second movie toy lineup. Because, hey, there's a lot of cool stuff here for all kinds of Sonic fans. And also be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for Sonic movie news and more. And my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.